Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, talking fishing. If it's facts about fishing that you want to know, then tune in, folks, cause this is the show. We'll show you all the right bait to use, so sit right back, you got nothing to lose. Doesn't really matter if it's trout or carp, flathead, marlin or a gummy shark. Listen to the guys and you can't go wrong. They'll be talking about fishing till the cows come home. Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
And welcome everyone to Talking Fishing, a big show coming your way. As always, welcome Nikki and Adam. Dr. Taylor. Welcome. You're a fisheries manager with the VFA, and you've been around for a while, and you know your stuff, don't you?
I wouldn't say that. No, delighted to have the call up.
Well, I'll tell you. Let's introduce you properly, right? I reckon there's a bunch of you blokes, right? Doctors, Dr. Corey Green. You guys could outfish any of us anytime.
No. It doesn't make you a good fisher.
You send me photos all the time.
No, I wish it did. I wish it made you a good fisher. No, it just means that we love fish a little bit too much. That's all.
That's what I love about the VFA. You guys are passionate. I mean, Travis Dowling, he loves fishing. He struggles to catch, but you guys actually catch. You actually love your fishing. You know you're fishing, and you're doing a great job.
We love it. Very lucky to have jobs in fisheries because we can talk about fish all day, and this is a perfect show for it. And hopefully we can create some great fishing for everyone to enjoy, including us as well. So.
Exactly. Yeah. Now lots to talk about with Taylor tonight because we're coming out of the flood events and waters are starting to recede, and what's happening is a lot of black water is starting to flow into the rivers, and Taylor's here to tell us all about that tonight. But I guess the hot topic is the water's starting to warm up in the bays. We're nudging 17 degrees, and we were just looking through on social media just then before we went to air, and the amount of snapper being caught, Nikki, up the top end of the bay has just been sensational, hasn't it?
Yep, it's been really good. Exciting to see.
Yeah. Does your club hold any events during November?
We do. We've got one this weekend, so should be some snapper on the table.
Great conditions too this weekend.
I hope so.
How many people do that, and where do you go from?
We're not. Well, it's undecided where we're going to launch from, but I'd be heading north, like you're saying. So,
if you want to get away from the dirty water, there's a place called Bateman's Bay on the New South Wales coast. In all seriousness, Taylor, you're from down on the Bellarine. I fished offshore on Sunday. I reckon we had to go out 7 kilometres offshore before we got out of the dirty water. And when I say dirty water, 6.9 kilometres offshore. It's like the Yarra River. It's brown. Yeah,
it's really, really dirty, isn't it? And I wonder about the fish, but there are lots of fish being caught.
There wasn't any on Sunday.
If you can find the right patch, they're there. But it's yucky to look at, isn't it? And I think about the calamari chasing the jigs and try and find the cleaner water.
Well, I got back in the bay because we left in the fog, and when we got back, the water, particularly on the Point Nepean side, all the way through to Portsea, Blairgowrie and Rye, the water was green. It was like there'd been an algal bloom almost. It was just disgusting. So obviously a lot of warnings out. Just keep an eye on the news about dirty water. Don't swim in it. They're almost saying don't eat fish in it. I'm not sure about that, but anyway, look at the warnings. So, folks, let's have a look at what's been caught by the people at home. It's time for Catch of the Week.
Catch of the Week, brought to you by Shimano.
Now, we did have last Tuesday off because of the Melbourne Cup.
Yeah, we did.
It seems like ages ago. So there's a lot of photos to get through, and apologies to anyone we missed out on. There was a lot of photos, but got to kick it off with a 20-pounder.
I was going to say, going straight to the top,
Have a look at this. Now, Damien Reid, he got this, he's out of Hastings, but up at Joe's Island.
That is a monster.
That's a genuine 20-pounder.
It looks every bit of 20-pound, doesn't it?
You've got to get 9.08 kilograms to get over the 20-pound. That was 9.25 kilos.
Wow.
That is genuine.
That's as good as it gets, isn't it? That's what we all want.
Great photo too.
Good-looking fish.
Yeah, it is. Great photo.
Look at that. I mean, I don't know, Damien, look at your hand, not even close to wrapping around the tail.
That's where you can tell, the tail wrist.
Yeah.
That's it, yeah.
The height of the tail.
He doesn't need to tuck those fingers in, does he?
He doesn't. He doesn't even need to hold it out.
He probably can't hold it out.
That's a big fish.
The gummy sharks have been excellent in Western Port as well. Have a look at this. Gav and Kerry, a beautiful pair of gummy sharks.
Nice, yeah.
The Methers crew get it done, don't they?
The Methers crew just know how to catch them.
Yeah, they know what's up.
Out of your ringer, somewhere up the top end.
They look pretty
So
happy.
good.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
How good's that?
Absolutely beautiful. A lot of fish down that real silver leaf area. We've been talking about that at Western Port. It just seems to be a real hot spot. And Mark Niles got down there with our good friend Callan, and got a lovely snapper on. I think that was Saturday morning as well. Could have been Friday morning actually. With Cal, I think he works about 2 days a week, so he gets a lot of time off to go fishing. But took the father-in-law Mark out. Well done, Cal and Mark, on a lovely, beautiful coloured snapper, isn't it?
Yeah, that's pristine snapper. I think that's beautiful.
Sticking with reel, lots of people enjoying that new boat ramp down there. Nick got a lovely pair of 5.5 kilo. Excuse me, how good's that?
They look like big for 5.5 kilos.
Yeah, they do.
And
fish.
that bottom, that sort of southern end of Western Port's been, I reckon, the most productive.
Yep.
And Port Phillip seems to be catching up a little bit, but
Yep.
so far to date, I think that southern end of Western Port's been the go.
Just across the waterways, observation point, same year class, I reckon. Levi Tonkin,
Yeah.
another 5.5 kilo.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
Be happy with that.
Beautiful fish.
It's
Very nice.
I want to go fishing.
I want to
Great
catch
spot.
snapper. All right, let's keep moving. Let's jump over to Port Phillip Bay, and Altona has been like absolutely on fire. Wellesley got a beautiful 47 centimetre, beautiful eating size. Hey?
That is a good.
And do you know what's the second
You'd
best
get them
thing?
out of your window in your office, wouldn't you?
Oh, it's Marine Park straight out the front.
Oh,
but just,
amazing.
just, down, just down the way a little bit, there's a sneaky little hole.
Yeah.
47 centimetres. And the second best thing about that 47 centimetre fish, their kayakers would be smacking them off Altona and
They
Black
would.
Rock and
Yeah.
places like that.
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
a lot of those fish on the inshore reefs.
A little bit further down, further down the bay, Ricketts Point. A lot of good fish coming from that
Yeah.
area as well. That eastern seaboard, it's a real spawning area, isn't it? That side. And Ricketts Point, have a look at this one. Jim Gouchy, 7.5 kilos.
That's a good
That's
fish.
a good
Yeah,
looking
it's a
fish.
great fish.
Yeah.
Good fish.
Jim rocking the old handlebar mo. Love it.
Yes.
Got the great tips
Big time.
on your Jim. All right, let's keep punching through Black Rock, just down the road. 3.5 kilo snapper to Stephen Jersek.
Good on you, Steve. Yep.
Beautiful
I know
looking
Steve
fish.
well. He's normally out and about slaying a few whiting. Good to see him flick over to the snapper for a bit.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can see the storm in the background.
Yes, it's coming. I hope you got out of there quick, Steve.
Changing
A lot
barometer.
of people like that stormy
Oh,
condition
yeah.
coming. You know,
Yeah.
it does a spike
Certainly.
in the barometer, and people
Yeah.
go.
Yep.
It doesn't matter whether it's
Fires
up or
them up.
down.
Yeah, they chew hard just before those storm fronts come through.
Switches them on.
Yeah. Horrendous conditions over the Melbourne Cup weekend too.
Oh, yeah.
Some of that rough
winter.
weather actually, I mean, people braved it and got out on Mornington Pier and the
Yeah.
rocks and that, and got some nice
Really good
land-based fish.
I did see some videos. Yeah, they were working
Does that
hard.
happen over your side of the bay? When I say your side,
Yeah, in
Corio
Queenscliff
Bay and
and-
Queenscliff. And that.
Yeah, yeah.
Snapper coming close there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. In at St Helens in there.
Do you need
plenty
an
of-
easterly so it's blowing hard against the shore, or is it doesn't really matter?
I don't know. I think people seem to catch fish year round in there. Off Cunningham Pier, Wangham Way,
Yep.
the new walkway around there.
Yep.
There is a power of fish that come out of those land-based spots. So
There you go.
it's great. You don't need a boat.
Yeah.
It's good.
Seaford's another one that's just been on fire. Mick Sass, he got an 8.2 and a 5.4 kilos.
How small does that 5.5 kilo snapper? That's a great pair of
It's
fish.
really a snapper fiesta, isn't
Yeah, it
it?
is.
Like
Yeah.
it's on.
Well, look, we got other species sent to us, but how do you not
Yeah.
show all
It's
these
snapper
great
season.
snapper?
That's what
catches?
Melbourne's all about.
It's the
snapper
iconic
season.
Yeah, it's
species.
November.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Young Jack Smith, have a look at this, 3.5 kilos from Snapper, from Frankston.
Good job.
Good on you,
On you,
Jack.
Jack. Good
Well
stuff.
go. Good
Yeah.
fish.
Yeah, beautiful.
And lucky last, let's do a land-based, a different species. Naz Saphira, I think I got that right. A beautiful calamari off the Sorrento Pier.
Yeah,
Very
that's
nice.
not the only one. Naz has been getting stuck into a few that I've seen, and there's some of those big breeders still hanging around for the land-based anglers, Dave. I think
Yeah.
that's key, and nice of you to throw in a different species at the end of the snapper
wow.
fest.
Just to mix it up.
One gummy, one calamari. Lots of whiting
bit of
picks. We just
variety.
couldn't do
Yeah,
it.
well, that's the other thing too. I mean, we could almost run a whole show just on catch of the week after having the week off, but the
Yeah.
whiting fishing's been incredible,
Yeah.
even though we're in the middle of snapper
Yeah.
season.
Lots of
Yeah.
big fish.
Yeah. All right, if you'd like to send in a pic of your catch of the week, this is what you have to do.
If you want to be like me and have your photo on TV, email your fishing pics to info@ifish.com.au. Fish on!
I wanna go fishing.
Coming up next, fisheries news, including what's going on at Lake Toolondo. That's next on Talking Fishing.
Talking fishing.
We know what you'd rather be doing.
We know what you've really got in mind.
We know you'd rather be out fishing. And today's the day you're gonna wear the line. 'Cause every day's a good day.
Stop wishing. Every day's a chance to drift away.
Drift away.
Every day's a good day for fishing. See it down and tackle world today.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing. We're talking fishing.
Live from the studios of Channel 31 Melbourne, it's now time for some very fishy news.
Tell you what, there's a bit of news going on.
Bit happening.
It's going to be good. You're going to contribute to this, Taylor.
Oh yeah, I'm in. I'm all in.
All right, let's kick it off. The VFA annual surveys of King George whiting are underway. Fisheries scientists from Queenscliff visit 8 sites around Port Phillip, surveying shallow seagrass beds where small whiting take cover. These surveys have been undertaken around the bay since 1998, and they provide a reliable indicator of future whiting stocks in Port Phillip and other important nurseries, for example Western Port and Corner Inlet, because the same factors that influence their abundance in Port Phillip also dictate their abundance throughout the state. I've got a little photo here of some of the experience, if we can show that there. So Taylor, tell us about that, like the little trawl net. Well, it's just a hand pull sort of
Yeah, it's a pretty fine mesh that gets pulled through some seagrass and basically catches those tiny little King George whiting that you can see there in those pictures in the top right hand corner. That's Steve and Mark pulling those, part of the Queenscliff team that do a great job. And this is really valuable monitoring for us because, like the media release said, it provides a really good indicator for the fish that come through into Port Phillip Bay and Western Port. And the fish that we're catching now, we could predict back when we did this survey.
Yep.
So it's a great way to forecast what the fishery is looking like. So really important stuff.
It says here, for the last 3 to 4 months, these tiny whiting have had quite a journey. Likely born off the Western Victorian or South Australian coast, they've been carried eastwards for hundreds of kilometres by currents before settling in our bays and inlets. So there you go. That's pretty cool.
Pretty cool stuff.
Good little experiment every year.
Yeah.
You replicate the exact same thing every year, and then it's just the count, and that tells you how good or bad it's been.
That's it. And there's a similar trawl for snapper.
Yep.
And for flathead, and also for bream in Gippsland Lakes, and they can all give us a indication of what the fishery is going to look like down the track in a couple of years. So yeah, really important stuff.
Yep. If you go fishing and sell your catch, have a listen to this one. The headline is, boat seized for illegal whiting haul at St Leonard's. Most recreational fishers do the right thing and abide by catch limits that keep our booming whiting, snapper and calamari fisheries sustainable. However, 3 men have been apprehended at St Leonard's and had their fiberglass boats seized for allegedly taking more than the daily bag limit of King George whiting. Director of Education Enforcement at the VFA, Ian Parks, said the trio were observed retrieving their boat after catching a quantity of whiting, travelling to a nearby house, then relaunching their boat to continue fishing in the same spot. Must have been one of our hot spots, I reckon. You reckon?
Yeah, well, you know.
The 3 men returned to the boat ramp in the early evening and were intercepted by fisheries officers a short time later back at the nearby house, where they presented a quantity of whiting for inspection. All fish, fishing gear and the boat was seized on the spot. So they were done.
Yeah,
Mr. Parks said the apprehension led to a Lygon Street restaurant in Carlton, where 25 kilos of illegitimate King George whiting and 58 kilos of calamari were allegedly uncovered. The whiting and calamari could not be substantiated as commercially sourced product and were seized by fisheries officers. It will be alleged a document to account for the whiting was falsely created by a seafood wholesaler. Geez, they got the lot, didn't they?
Yeah.
By a seafood wholesaler at the request of the restaurant. The proprietor and company associated with the restaurant will face charges relating to the sale of recreational taken fish, providing false documents and information, and other significant offences under the Fisheries Act. A seafood wholesaler will also face charges relating to the creation of a false document connected to the whiting. What a chain of idiots.
Well, it sounds like a chain that probably wasn't the first time that had been undertaken. It seemed pretty full on, to be honest.
Yeah.
Oh, there's the boat now. You can see
Oh,
that
there's
got
the boat.
seized.
Oh yeah.
Don't know if I'd want the boat. The motor's not bad. Bit of an old boat.
Good work by the boys in blue. Like that would have
Yeah.
taken a fair bit of effort, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
To observe that.
Yeah, it's good that they're cracking them because too much of that's going on. I'm tipping they're not the only ones that do that.
That's right.
How's the bloke who claimed he caught 38?
Yeah, the other two
Yeah,
didn't do
should've-
too
That
well.
was good, were they?
Not the time to flex on how good you are.
Yeah, no.
fishing, you know?
No. All right, this is a big one. We all know all the floods, while haven't been great for a lot of areas. You know, houses are flooded and properties ruined, and we know that, and that's that's not a good thing. And there's lots of recovery that's going to be going on probably for months, I guess. But there is a little bit of a shining light that's come out of all the rain, and that is Rocklands Reservoir. The headline is Rocklands water release for Lake Toolondo. Lake Toolondo in the Wimmera will receive a water allocation from Rocklands Reservoir. The VFA Freshwater Fisheries Manager Anthony Forster said recent rainfall had resulted in nearby Rocklands Reservoir exceeding 56% capacity, which is the threshold to target a large-scale water allocation to Toolondo. The VFA has developed a trout stocking plan for the lake that will kick in after Grampians Wimmera Mallee water transfers water from Rocklands and water temperatures are cool enough to support trout. We're going to go into this in a bit of detail in a minute. This is expected to create a high-quality trout fishery at Toolondo for several years, enough time for stock brown trout to grow with the right environmental conditions. So, if you've been a long-time viewer of this program, you would have remembered back in 2015, the gates were opened, and that was the first top-up. I think it was 5,000 meg back then, which kind of insignificant compared to what it's about to receive, isn't it? So, how much is it going to get?
So it's going to get 25,000 megalitres.
Wow.
Which will give it 2 to 3 years of quality trout fishing.
Yeah.
So we are really excited about it because Toolondo is back.
Yeah.
The water transfer's already started,
Yep.
and it takes a couple of days to start flowing in.
Did you say the water, when it's released from Rocklands, takes 2 days to get to Toolondo?
Yeah. Bernie from Grampians Wimmera Mallee Water says it's got to go through all the channels. And so pretty soon we'll see on social media. Someone will film it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But the water's on its way, so it's really exciting. And Toolondo's back. So those Toolondo's fighting browns, we're going to experience that again.
Yeah. Now it's going to take a little while. So
it will.
We want to have a look at a video now of what Toolondo looks like right now because it is pretty dry. Let's have a look at this. We can chat about this. So it's pretty much made up of 3 ponds. Is that right? 3 swamps, or how would you describe it?
Yeah, that's right. This is drone footage from Eddie Osborne. Thanks, Eddie, for supplying this. And these are the 3 different sort of bowls, I suppose, of Toolondo. This is the northern bowl that we're looking at there.
How deep are they right now?
Oh, they're shallow. So at the most, about 80 centimetres in the deepest one.
Yeah, wow.
And they're quite warm, so they're not suitable for trout stocking yet, but the water's about to go in. And by March, April next year, we will be ready to put fish in, and it will be quite deep.
So you can see the 3.
Metres.
That's the 3 there, isn't it?
That's it. There's the 3 there. The one on the right's the really deep one.
Yeah.
And that's the major one. But as it feels, obviously, it connects into one big lake.
Yeah.
At the moment. So.
And then you have those humps, I guess, in between, but still, you get what does 25,000 give it in depth?
So it'll give it. We want to be at least 2.5 metres.
Yeah.
But it will probably put it about 3.3 metres to get through summer because there'll be a bit of evaporation in summer.
Yeah.
And at least 2 to 3 years of trout fishing. So we'll be able to stock it with some small trout, some fry, and also some large trout. We can plant. So essentially, it'd be an instant fishery. But if you remember 2012, when we stocked it after the drought, those trout grew like crazy. It was a boom. So we expect a similar thing.
So what is it? Is it the food source in there that just makes it so thriving or?
Yeah, pretty productive soils, but as the water comes up over that ground that's got all the vegetation, super productive, lots of food, heaps of mud eyes. You see them on all the trees, and the growth rates out of Toolondo were just amazing.
Wow.
So we are anticipating that's going to happen again.
Awesome. Now, before you put the trout in, there's a couple of things. One, obviously putting water in there now, it's going to be quite warm. We're heading into summer.
That's right.
You don't want to put trout in hot water, so that's not going to happen immediately.
Correct.
But the other thing that's boomed is carp.
Yes.
We're going to look through a few photos now of, or tell us about this. Tell us
Yeah,
about
so
the
this
story.
is so we do have lots of carp in Toolondo at the moment, but we've got the best carp fisher in Australia out there, Keith Bell. And there's Keith there in the fluoro orange, and he's catching carp out of Toolondo. So he's already taken out 92 tonnes, and he's going to continue
tons.
fishing the rest of the year. Yep, and he thinks he can get another 30 or 40 tonnes.
Wow.
That's insane.
He's sending them to Charlie Carp for fertiliser. This is his operation that we went and had a look at a couple of weeks ago, and he will beat down that carp population. We won't get rid of them completely, but they'll be to a point where they won't impact the trout fishery. And so that's going to happen. He's going to keep fishing as the water is transferred in. It's actually going to aggregate the carp, so he'll be able to catch more of the carp out and really, reduce their abundance in time for us to put trout in and bring back the vibrant trout fishery.
Wow,
Yeah.
fantastic.
There they are. So in a nice slurry.
On ice.
There was a bit of a video with this too. We didn't show it tonight, but just a good way to kill a proper way to
Humanely.
humanely.
Yeah,
Yes.
humanely, and then take them up for fertiliser and then make all their gardens grow.
Yeah.
That's it.
Now, when you do stock it, give it a little bit of time. Have a look at the trout that will come out of there. There's Anthony Forster with it. That's a cracker.
That's a
brand.
beauty, yeah.
Eh?
Cheerio to Anthony, he'll be watching in. It's his son's 21st tonight, but Anthony's put a lot of work into Toolondo and cracking brown.
The other bloke that has got a little soft spot for Toolondo is Trevor Holmes. Let's have a look at Trevor.
Just a little bit.
Nice, Trev.
Trevor's been a huge advocate for Toolondo. He bleeds Toolondo, done heaps of work. Trevor with Chris Spence, Charlie Officer, and yourself, Dave, put a lot of work into Toolondo. Jeff Stock, Jeff will be delighted. So Toolondo is back, baby. I can't believe it. In 2 months has turned around. And the rain and the floods have been devastating in parts of Victoria, but that rainfall over the Grampians area has completely changed the game, and it's brought us back a premier trout fishery. So
it's going to take a little bit of time, and like I said, the warm water, you can't put trout in warm water. So what'll they go in after April?
Yeah, we'll monitor the water temperature. It could be as early as March, but probably April on a normal year. We'll continue to watch it as we go through, and as soon as it's ready, we'll get it cracking.
Alrighty, coming up next, a product of the week, and we talk about black water with Dr. Taylor Hunt next on Talking Fishing.
Talking fishing.
Good morning, spotters. Stephanie speaking.
Product of the week, brought to you by Tackle World.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
Welcome back to Talking Fishing, and product of the week this week we're going to look at a brand new soft plastic that's on the market, Bite Science. Dave, I think you were just commenting on who comes up with these names, but Bite Science means it's more than just a soft plastic.
I thought you answered it with a name.
No, I'm getting there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so Bite Science soft plastics, developed by biologist and behavioural scientist Professor Wu.
There you go.
Do you know how I know that?
No.
Read it off the back of the packet. So shout out to Professor Wu, who's come up with the latest and greatest in soft plastic technology. In all seriousness, basically this means these soft plastics, or majority of the tails, not all of them, are impregnated with a squid scent. And I must admit, out of all the scents that I've seen over the years, both already on soft plastics and in bottle form, squid hasn't been one that I've seen. So I think it's safe to say these are going to be more of a saltwater based thing, though some of the tails that we will have a look at do lend themselves to trout and yellow belly and Murray cod and things like that. But they cover everything that will catch you a fish all over the country. From, they're going to be hard to see, but these small 2-inch grubs. I mean, and that's the brim go-to. If you're a brim fisher, you have got some sort of curl-tail grub in your kit. So they cover that all the way through to your standard. If you're not sure what to throw, you just throw one of them, a little 3-inch paddle tail minnow. This is an interesting one. I like this because we've seen this before in plastics, but they never seem to hang around for long. And it's the old sandworm. So this is a little bit of a different take on it.
Yeah.
I challenge our viewers to catch King George whiting on these things.
Yeah.
Because I think, especially in certain times of the year, and you can do your own research when we have a spawn of sandworm in the bay.
The whiting on that patch.
Correct. Correct. And they
Yeah.
hang around for a while. So if you can work that out, I think that's a soft plastic that's going to catch you a King George whiting, and then all the way through to your modern day pre-rig swim bait. So that's going to be your big flathead, Dave. That's got Lake Tyres flathead written all over it. To river cod, I think it's something that's it's really making inroads into that as well. And more importantly, these are made of your very durable, stretchy soft plastic. So I think the days are pretty much gone of the one fish wonder soft plastic. You can catch a handful of fish on those, or in some of those estuary systems where you're chucking around in the snags and those pesky school of tailor come through, you are going to get more than one fish out of your soft plastic. So that's Bite Science. They've come to the game with a squid scent, which I haven't seen impregnated into a soft plastic. It does, it does, especially based around that. And to make life even easier, and I really like this because I think it's the small things sometimes that make the world of difference. There are Bite Science jig heads that do come not with the plastic, but a part of the entire story.
And they're matched. Yeah.
Well, they're not. You can choose your jig head to suit the application, but what I really do like is on the packet of the Bite Science plastics, it actually gives you a recommendation for that specific tail on the jig head that you would start with. And it makes it really user-friendly for beginner fishermen to soft plastics, because it can be daunting. You have to look at a wall of jig heads and there's hundreds of them in every form, in every little increment of weight, there is a jig head, and then you try and match a hook as well. So this just helps match that jig head to get you started, and then you can build from there. But Bite Science, Dave, I think these look the goods, and I think they're going to catch a lot of fish over the summer period.
Yep, excellent. All right, let's change subjects now. The flood system, the flooding of our river systems has been quite devastating in a lot of areas. Taylor, tell us what blackwater is.
It's a great question, Dave. Blackwater. So blackwater is essentially when leaf litter, so leaves, mulch, even crops, sticks and things go into our waterways, and bacteria breaks it down. It strips the water of oxygen. So it's tough for fish and crayfish.
So this is like when the floods get into the forest and that's all those things get picked up, do they? And
absolutely. And even this recent flood over farmland. So all sorts of stuff through our towns and our farms, any sort of organic material. And as that leaf litter breaks down, it takes the oxygen out of the water. Sometimes it releases those tannins, so it can look black. That's where it gets the blackwater name. But really, it just takes the oxygen out of the water. So, and that's a bit of a problem for our aquatic species.
Is there a set level of dissolved oxygen that fish need?
There is, and it varies on species, but generally we say once you go below 4 milligrams per litre, that's when things will start to struggle. And if you go below 2, that's when things will start to die. And it sounds like a random number, but when we've got water monitoring around the state, we can keep an eye on things and say, things are tough right now. We've got patches of blackwater around the state.
So you've pretty much got every river in the state. Maybe some in the west that aren't in flood, but certainly even down Gippsland are in flood. How widespread is this, and how big a fish kill are we talking about?
So it's pretty patchy, but we have seen significant fish deaths in our northern rivers, so places like Broken Creek, Boozy Creek, Gunbower Creek, the Kerrang Lakes, the Little Murray, and the Murray River itself, sort of that section, a little bit of the Loddon and Campaspe as well. So we're talking sort of northwest and moving down the Murray system, so to speak.
Let's have a look at a few photos. I think we've got, because you guys are out salvaging some fish too, trying to rescue as much as you can. The first indicator is spiny crays, isn't it?
Yeah, we see crays climbing out of the water, and you might have seen this on social media. So when dissolved oxygen goes low, they'll actually climb out because they can last a little while out of the water, but they're susceptible to predation. So we've been working with catchment management authorities, New South Wales Fisheries, Arthur Ryler Institute and DELP to save crayfish and native fish and actually get ahead of the black water where we can. Are
they rubber bands around the claws?
They are, because if you've ever dealt with spiny crays, they're pretty aggressive and they will nip each other too. So when we pick them up, we put little rubber bands around their claws so they can't destroy each other. So we've saved
brutal creatures.
Mud crabs.
Don't stick your finger in there.
There's Ryan from our hatchery at Arcadia with some crays that were salvaged.
So you've taken these back to Arcadia?
That's right. So about 2,000 crays and fish. Some fish we've relocated to safe waters with good dissolved oxygen, and we're holding a lot of crays and native fish in our hatcheries at Arcadia and Snobs Creek. So they're in a tank. They've got their claws tied up so they can't fight each other. They're just
hold them until they're ready for release.
Yeah, we're holding them all till conditions return to normal, then we can put them back.
There's a big fish.
That's a big cod.
Big cod. A lot of big cod out of the Gunbower system.
Yeah.
And again, these fish have been relocated to safe waters.
So you check them, measure them?
Measure them. Some of them we have at Arcadia we might keep for broodstock to restock the system. So there's a silver lining here. And we're doing our best to get ahead of it.
It's a lot of work though.
Big team effort, Ozfish, the CMAs, all of the agencies working together, and lots of fishers are calling in and saying, hey, there's some fish here that we can save, can we get in there? We've got about 7 teams around the state at any time, and they're electro-fishing ahead of the black water and getting these fish out. So,
so you know the black water's coming down the system. And,
so we've got monitoring in place, and we're watching it as we go and trying to get ahead of it. So it's a good story, trying to make the best of a bad situation, and these fish will go back where they came from as well.
Yeah.
I guess the good thing is we do know that these black water events, the systems will recover eventually.
Yeah.
And we will restock and we will reinstall habitat, and they will breed naturally themselves as well. But we're trying to give them a helping hand, and fishers really care about this as well.
What about a big cod going into a tank?
There's been some enormous cod, 1.20 metre fish.
Wow.
Really? Yeah.
They survive the trip in the trailer, no worries?
They do, they do. I mean, occasionally you have a mortality, but most times there's really good survival. They go back where they came from, and everyone's happy.
Yeah, there you go. You know what I love? You guys really care about every single fish, don't you?
We are counting every single one of them, and there's a heap of effort going in. You know, people spotting fish here, there, and everywhere. We try and get there, and we save them. We do our very best. It's because we love fish as well.
Yeah. Brilliant work. Coming up next, Kramer's Mailbag, and we're going to discuss how the VFA is salvaging fish in other troubled waters. That's next on Talking Fishing.
Talking Fishing. Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
All right, bit of mailbag. Now, Taylor, you're going to get abused, and you might help us with a few answers as well. So
here we go.
Don't worry about that. You're here on behalf of the Victorian government.
Hit me with it. Yeah, what do you got?
Now, let's start with Altona Pier. Don't comment on political things too. You're in caretaker mode, all right? So just a warning. Hi, guys. This is from Les. Thanks for a great show. As most no, there is very limited Port Phillip Bay land-based fishing opportunities. Correct? Oh, sorry, in the western suburbs. The Altona Pier has now been closed, coming up to 2 years now, with no sign of the new pier being started. It's just not good enough. So much for the state government promoting fishing. 1 million, target 1 million, what a joke. Well, you kind of got to say, I agree. Altona Pier closed for 2 years, not good enough, is it?
2 years is a long time, yeah.
Far out.
There's been an announcement by the Liberal Party of what they're doing for fishing. No piers. There's been no announcement from the Labor Party on Altona Pier at all. So just have to wait and see. And it's probably a good opportunity to say it. We are trying really hard to get both political parties' leaders, so the Premier and the opposition leader, on the show in the next 2 weeks to tell us what they're going to promise for fishing and boating. So stand by for that. If you don't like political shows, you're going to catch up with us in about 3 weeks' time. So thanks, Les, for that. Totally agree with you. This one's from Thomas. I would like to know what's happening to get Altona Pier open up again. I didn't read this before. It's one of the only piers west of the river mouth that's worth fishing off. Ditto, Thomas, we agree with you. Hi guys, love the show. This is from Julian. Something I've been meaning to ask about the prawns. I understand when Lake Tyers opens up, the prawns come in. Something I always wondered, is there anywhere else in Victoria where they migrate? And what happens if Lake Tyers doesn't open? Where do these prawns spawn? Sorry, one of those questions, but I hope you understand where I'm coming from. Thanks, Julian. Taylor?
Gosh, I can't give you a lot of insight into that one.
Yeah. What? You don't?
Prawns?
Well, so Lake Tyers is that close from opening up again, right? Although it has receded a little bit. I think that sand's built up. But there was actually an exchange of fluids between the ocean and the lake.
Well, that sounds seedy.
During the week. Yeah,
the way you put it like that.
A little kiss between each other. But it hasn't opened up. Is the prawn spawn in the lake yet? Probably no. But if it opens up, maybe. I got no idea.
Yeah.
But they do also go into all the systems. So like Lakes Entrance, obviously.
Basically from Gippsland all the way through to Malakuta and beyond to Wonboyne, and then into, South Coast, New South Wales.
Yeah, Merimbula, Pambula.
But it is important those systems open. That's the issue we have with the Gippsland systems. They stay shut majority of the time.
Yeah.
They have to open at the right time.
They're saying one more big rain in Gippsland and that'll open Tyers. So
which will probably be next week.
I was going to say next week's going to be heavy.
Anyway, stand by. The doctor won't help us. We'll try and get a professor.
I'm glad you're here, Adam.
Was that Professor Wu? What he
Hey, he created this stuff.
What do you know about prawns?
All right, we're going to keep moving along. G'day, Dave, Adam, and Nick, and I'm sure Mark would have known that you were coming on. He would have said as well as you, Taylor. Cheers for putting my snapper on Catch of the Week last week. That was 2 weeks ago. No, that's all good, Mark. I've just watched Aussie Hunting Adventures, and they were bow fishing in South Australia. They took so many carp out of the water system. It was so targeted and effective. Do you know why we're not allowed to do this for carp in Victoria? It's basically just a very effective form of pest eradication with no bycatch. Perhaps a question for Travis Dowling. Would you like to act on behalf of Travis Dowling? Travis use a bow and arrow for catching fish. Are you allowed to? You don't want to answer that one.
No, I don't want to, in case he's...
Travis will he'll give us an answer on that one.
He will.
Hi everyone, can you please tell... Oh, you'll know this one, Taylor, I think. Hi everyone, can you please tell if Lake Burrumbeet has been stocked this year? Looking to go up there at Christmas to do a bit of camping.
I believe so, yeah, it's full. Unfortunately, it does have a large carp population, but we have stocked it with rainbow trout, and it's full of water, so they're in there. The eel fisher occasionally gets a few rainbow trout coming through. So definitely worth a shot.
VFA website has all the stocking as well, so if you do want to check,
you can just click on the water.
Hop on there,
absolutely. Fish stocking database.
That's a really good database, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, easy to use. Everyone can use it. All right, this one's from Daryl. Geez, Taylor, this is one for you. Hi, I'm Daryl. Can you tell me what's going on with the fisheries licence ID card? They're saying if you get a 1-year licence, you get an ID card. Well, when? Well over a month now, still no ID card. You put everything on computer these days, not 100% safe. Should have left things the way things was. That way you could walk into a shop and get your licence right away. This way they're stuffing everyone up. Can you talk to them? Taylor? Can we talk to Taylor or do something about this? Thank
Come on,
you.
Taylor, you
and
gotta
have a
leave
nice
it.
day.
Yeah, there's a
Love
few.
you.
About prawns.
Love your show.
I'll take that one away. Prawns,
Can
licenses,
you get Daryl's
anything
license
else?
sent?
Yep, no
It's
way.
taken a month now, mate.
I'll
That
get
might
on
be
there
Oz
tomorrow.
Post. That's not.
We're just
I
talking
think it
about
might
get-
be the wrong number
Yeah.
or letter in the address because they are pretty efficient.
But he's talking about an ID, isn't he? It's probably the digital ID.
Leave it with me, Daryl. I'll check it out tomorrow. We'll sort
Yeah.
this one out. Yep,
All right, and
I'll
forward to
take that one home.
Yeah, right. You can have that one.
Great,
There you go.
thank you.
There you go. If you'd like to write into Kramer's mailbag, this is what you do.
Send your mail to Kramer's Mailbag, PO Box 734, Patterson Lakes, Victoria 3197, or email kramer@ifish.com.au.
Now, Taylor, the flood events have caused you guys to go out and do some fish salvaging, but it's not the first by any means. You guys have been doing it for a lot of other reasons. What are some of those reasons?
Yeah, absolutely, Dave. It's part of our program really to save fish. When we have drying lakes, for instance, we'll get in there and save any of the recreational fish species in there and relocate them. Any of the channels that have maintenance being done on them.
Oh, so they drain the channels? Do
Yeah,
they?
so Goulburn Water need to maintain the channels, so they drain them to get the weed out. We'll get in there with contractors ahead of that and get out all of the fish and put them back into public waters where they can be caught. But often they're really big fish, and we'll see some photos in a sec.
Yeah, let's have a look at the photos.
They're big breeding fish. So there's the electro fishing boat there that we use in the channels and on the lakes sometimes as well.
Yeah, whereabouts would this be? Would this be at Greens Lake? Did you say earlier?
So this one would probably be in one of the irrigation channels in the northwest, but we do use this boat as well in Greens Lake, and we'll see some photos in a sec of some of the fish that have come out of Greens Lake and the channels. Yeah, beautiful Murray cod, golden perch, and so out of Greens Lake alone, we've got around about 800 fish, Murray cod and golden perch.
Wow.
It's a lot of fish, but the more impressive part about it, I think, is the size of them. So the average golden perch is 3.5 kilos.
Wow.
So we're talking sort of 55 centimetres. And all of the Murray cod are 80 to 120 centimetres. So they're big breeding fish that we take out of these systems where they'd otherwise be lost, put them back in the rivers where they can breed, and they can also be caught by anglers. So it's like a really efficient way of stocking. So that's a Greens Lake fish getting released into the Campaspe River, and you can see the community out enjoying that, experiencing it. So big, long-lived breeding fish. We think it's really important to get them back in the river systems.
Yep.
Because we love fish, we don't want to see them die, and we think they're really valuable to the environment and the community and for fishers.
So do they get relocated to their closest waterway to where they were taken, or is there a bit of a plan? Because I couldn't imagine taking out that many fish and just dumping them all into the next smallest creek that's around. Is there a bit of a game plan on how they get relocated?
Yeah, absolutely. We try and, so Greens Lake, for instance, a lot of fish have come out of there. We've shared those fish around between the Campaspe River, the Goulburn River, Waranga Basin, down at Nagambie. You don't want to put, 800 big metre Murray cod on top of one another.
Yeah.
We want to share them around, and a lot of those fish have been paid for by fishing licence fees. So we think that they should be shared amongst the community. We don't want to transport them right across the state, but a range of nearby waters. Yeah.
Brilliant program. Well done, Taylor. All right, coming up next, the all-important hotspots coming up on Talking Fishing.
Talking fishing.
The Beau Morris Motor Yacht Squadron is a trailer boat and social club on Port Phillip Bay. The club has a great range of facilities, including multiple boat ramps, ample car and trailer parking, boat wash and fish cleaning, fishing competitions and boat safety lectures, boating activities and club events, a restaurant and 2 bars. Easy launch and retrieval makes for a relaxing time on the water for you, your family and friends to enjoy. And boating memberships are now available. The Beau Morris Motor Yacht Squadron, the best trailer boat experience on the bay.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
And now the segment you've all been waiting for, Fishing Hotspots, brought to you by the Beau Morris Motor Yacht Squadron, Melbourne's premier trailer boat club.
Alrighty, the all-important hotspots, and as you saw earlier on, lots of snapper being caught. So let's put some people on it. I think that dirty water's going to start to dissipate throughout the bay, and while Mornington and Mount Martha have been really, really good for snapper during the week, I think we'll see a lot of fish being caught off the first hotspot, which is Aspendale. So when you come out of Patterson River, turn right instead of left.
Yep.
Might get a few fish there, I reckon.
Yeah, I think it's we're just about settled into a nice proper snapper season now. So I think now's where we're going to see that northern bite shift a little bit over towards Patterson Lakes.
Yep.
It'll be good.
Another hot spot is the top end, and Nikki, we want some reports next week if we could. Altona is the next hot spot. It's always good up there, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I'll be looking forward to seeing what it's like. So.
Are you heading out yourself on the weekend?
Hopefully, if it's Saturday, I will. So
yeah, it's going to be good. Now we want picks and reports for next week, but don't forget, timely reminder again, we are hoping to get one of the political leaders, either Matthew Guy or Daniel Andrews, on the program next week, and the week after we'll try and get the other and talk about what the promises are for fishing and boating. It's an important thing because, the last 8 years I think we've had about an $80 million commitment from the Victorian government. We want to see those sort of things continue. So we're going to get political the next 2 weeks. If you don't want to watch Married at First Sight or whatever's on. I'm sure you won't miss us that much. All right, let's get on to Western Port Crawfish Rock. A lot of snapper up that top end, isn't there?
Yeah, it is. They're starting to filter their way through now. We'll see a lot of fish come from the North Arm over the next few weeks. My fingers are crossed, Dave. I hope that Western Port holds on, because the last few years it seems to turn off like a light switch and Port Phillip turns on, but so far so good. Western Port's firing on all cylinders.
Yeah. All right, the other one, boats were lined up there this week. Silver Leaves off Phillip Island, absolutely on fire.
Most productive for snapper so far, that southern end of the port.
Yeah. Around the rest of the state, Anderson's Inlet, absolutely firing up salmon and King George whiting at the moment.
We haven't had Andos for a while.
I know.
Pump the bass yabbies for the King George whiting. Best bait ever at Anderson's Inlet.
And the other one is Lake Tyres. Let's go to Lake Tyres. Got some photos from Mick Ott during the week. Big salmon are stuck in there. Like it was the tailor, and I'm sure the tailor was still in there, but there are monster salmon in there.
Nice. Maybe left over from the last time.
Yeah.
From when they got it, when it opened and then closed again. They have to be from then.
Yeah. Just when you thought you couldn't squeeze another species into Lake Tyres.
Big sandbags.
They'll chew up your plastic.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, another celebration, actually I went to a funeral during the week, which was kind of sad. Ken the chef, who used to cook all the fish at our Kids Come Try fishing days at Casey Fields, and condolences to the family. Ken passed away at the age of 61, way too young. And a bloke said, geez, you look a lot older on TV than you are in real life. And I don't know where it's going with that.
Well, I got told that I actually look thinner in person.
Well, I got told
that
too.
as a compliment.
I know where I was going.
So, crew, if you could fix the cameras, they're broken. They're making us look fat.
Where I was going was next week is our 200th episode.
Oh. Wow.
No wonder we're feeling old. 8 years and 200 episodes next week, so it's a big one. All right, we got through all that. Taylor, a big event coming to Victoria, a world event that's coming to Victoria, is in about February next year, am I right?
Yeah, that's right.
The World Recreational Fishing Conference.
That's right,
Tell us about that.
This is the biggest rec fishing conference in the world. It's been in cities all around the world, like Berlin and Victoria.
I went to Canada a few years ago.
Canada, it's been to Brazil, a whole heap of spots, and we landed it a couple of years ago for Australia. So it's going to be hosted here in Melbourne, 18th of February at the Melbourne Exhibition Centre, and we've got at least 250 internationals flying into Melbourne, rec fishing experts from around the world. So it's traditionally a science conference, but we're making it more well-rounded for rec fishers. And on the weekend before the conference, we've got a festival, a weekend event called Rec Fish Fest for all rec fishing anglers to come along. We've got some really impressive keynote speakers like April Vokey. Lots of our rec fishers. I think you'll be on stage, Dave. Paddy Dangerfield's going to be there, and lots of other fishers. And it's going to be awesome. It's free, and come along and celebrate our amazing fisheries here in Victoria.
Now, tickets went on sale today, did they, for something?
Tickets are open for registrations for World Rec Fishing Conference, but not for Rec Fish Fest. I think they'll happen very shortly, and you'll see lots more about this on our socials and in magazines, and it's going to be huge. So
dedicated social media page already up.
Yes, absolutely.
The World Rec Fishing Conference.
It's going to be great.
Good.
Think Codference, Talk Wild Trout Conference, rolled into one with all of the marine species: snapper, kingfish, tuna, everything you can think of.
Big couple of days, and then the actual conference, which goes for 2 or 3 days, I think, as well. So,
that's it.
No, it's going to be big. A lot of international visitors. Maribyrnong Estuary Perch. A lot of water's gone down the Maribyrnong. How are they going to survive?
There has been. Well,
they're probably down at about Rosebud right now.
Yeah.
They'll come back.
I think they'll be
We've got
all
about
right.
10 seconds for you to answer, by the way.
I think they'll be fine. They're built for this kind of stuff. They deal with floods, and we know from previous floods they come back. So they'll be fine. 320,000 in there. It's going to be an awesome fishery.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, mate, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Really,
it's been awesome.
It's been good.
Thanks for joining us.
Wealth of knowledge. You've been around for a while, Taylor, and we love everything you do, and you work hard. You're passionate about the job, and so appreciate you coming in. That's it for Talking Fishing. We hope you enjoyed the show. Like I said, next week it's our 200th episode. It's also going to be political. One of our leaders will be in the studio, hopefully, to talk about their government plan for fishing and boating if they're elected. Until we see you again next Tuesday on Talking Fishing, please stay safe on the water and enjoy your fishing.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing. We got all you need, just take a look. Watch those fish jump on your hook. So just relax and take your time. Enjoy the show, then drop us a line. Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing. Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing. Talking fishing.
Have a good weekend, Mr. Walker.
You too, son.